Hey guys, what's up? Okay, so yesterday's poll, you guys voted in almost a landslide to learn more about how protein affects weight loss in peri and menopause. So it affects it greatly. So first, let's start off by saying, at this age with the fluctuation of hormones, you may notice some symptoms, and those symptoms could be food cravings, emotional eating, low energy, belly fat. Like these are some of the things you may be experiencing. And the reason is due to our hormonal fluctuations. Now, when it comes to weight loss at this age, the things that used to work for us in our 20s and 30s, you may have and probably have already experienced, they no longer work. And these are things like low calorie diets, tons of cardio, intermittent fasting, no carbs. Like they can actually backfire. When it comes to weight loss at this age, it really requires strategy. And you can eat plenty of great foods and lose the weight and have great energy levels if you just understand the strategy. One of those strategies is protein. Now, why is protein so great for weight loss in peri and menopause? There's a bunch of reasons. So we're just going to get into a few of them here today. So one of them is, I think, I don't know, maybe everybody doesn't know. Actually, comment and let me know if you know. As we age, we start experiencing muscle loss, so sarcopenia. So just naturally with age and with our changing hormones, we start to have less muscle mass. When you eat protein, protein, when you eat it, it digests into amino acids. It helps to rebuild muscle mass. Now, you don't even have to work out. If you do, even better. But even if you don't think, oh, I don't work out, there's no point. That's not true. Do what you can always, and it does make a difference. So the more muscle mass we have, the higher our metabolic rate. The more calories we're going to burn. I hate the word calories, but the more energy we're going to burn even while at rest. So even if you don't work out, we got to try and preserve that muscle that you have and slow the breakdown of it. And one way to do this is by eating enough protein. Like I said, when we eat protein, we digest it, it's broken down into amino acids, and those are the building blocks of muscle. So we want to make sure we're getting enough protein. Another reason for having enough protein is you may notice at this age you're having kind of increased hunger. And one of the things that's going to help greatly with your hunger and managing hunger levels and hunger hormones is protein. Now, protein has what we call a higher thermic effect of food. And what that means simply is that it takes your body a lot more energy just to digest it. So it's kind of like a little cheat code, really, if you will. So if you are eating protein foods, it's taking about 20 to 30% more energy for your body just to digest it and break it down. So it's like you're getting a free calorie burn in essence. It's a little cheat code, like I said. So we're getting the thermic effect of food, so it takes more energy to burn it down. Another thing that we really tend to experience at women at this age, with the decline of estrogen and progesterone and the incline of cortisol, the stress hormone, with that comes some blood sugar problems. So in order to deal with the cortisol, we got to deal with the blood sugar. A great way to deal with blood sugar is to get enough protein. Now, at this age, because we start to have these problems, this can make us women more resistant to insulin. I know this sounds kind of complicated, but when you have the understanding, it's really not, and then you just work with it. What this means is, and you may be experiencing this as a side effect of insulin resistance, it simply means that our body is not as efficient as using our food for fuel, meaning it's more likely to store it as fat. So we got to trick it in a way for our body to use the food we eat as energy and burn it off so it's not stuck as body fat, right? And one of the simple ways to do this is to have enough protein. A lot of women at this age experience belly fat specifically. There is a reason. And the reason is because of our increase in cortisol, that stress hormone. It's famously known for putting fat right on the belly specifically. So we want to cut through that cortisol. Now, cortisol is highest in the morning. So everyone who's doing intermittent fasting and frickin' starving for half the day, and you're not losing weight, and in fact, you're probably gaining more, and you're like, oh my God, my body's broken, I'm starving, and I can't lose weight, that means nothing's gonna work. Girl, no. It's just a different approach is required. When you are doing intermittent fasting at this age, it's basically saying, my body's, staying in a state of fight or flight and keep the weight on. Oh my God. So it's just understanding, right? So one of the quickest ways or simplest ways to cut through cortisol, the stress hormone that puts fat on your belly when it's highest in the morning, is to balance your blood sugar. Simplest way to do this, have 30 grams of protein within an hour of waking. That's going to help to decrease your cortisol, the stress hormone that puts fat on your belly. Sounds simple, right? And a lot of the stuff is actually quite simple. The problem is understanding it and knowing how to work with these changing hormones. Once you understand how to work with our changing hormones, it's actually quite simple and it doesn't require starving. Now, another thing I love about protein is, I'm sure by now you've heard of Ozempic. It's a diabetic medication and people are taking it for weight loss. I will tell you my opinion here. Personally, as a nutritionist, I do not believe that 99.9% of the people taking it should be taking it. There are side effects with it. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. And it can lead to also muscle loss at the same time as you're having fat loss. And as we already discussed, the more muscle, metabolically active tissue you have, the more your body is going to burn calories even while at rest. Not only that, there's a host of other issues with it. Personally, I am against it. However, you can get similar effects from GLP-1 medications from food, and most people don't know this. So instead of going on a quick fix weight loss drug that has side effects, and you're probably going to gain the weight back with less muscle mass on your body, which means it's going to make it even harder to lose it again, understand how food can mimic it. Now, when we eat protein, it helps release a hormone like GLP-1. And what this does, it promotes satiety. So you'll hear people taking these weight loss drugs and they're like, oh, I don't have any more food noise, meaning you don't have food cravings and you're not thinking about it all the time. Protein does the same thing. It quiets that food noise. And the reason it does this is because it helps with your hunger hormones, namely ghrelin, which tells you you're satisfied and have had enough. And it helps to balance your blood sugar so you're not having food cravings. Does that make sense? Now, when protein is also paired with carbs and fats, the slower absorption is going to help to balance the blood sugar. Like if you ate straight carbs, especially without fiber, you're going to shoot your blood sugar through the roof really rapidly. And that means you're going to come crashing down just as rapidly, which means your body's going to want more to bring it back up. That's in the form of cravings, right? So our body is telling us, we're just not understanding what these signals mean a lot of the time. So protein helps with this as well. Again, I would recommend starting your day with 30 grams of protein within an hour of waking. Now, I have a high protein, simple breakfast recipe. If you want it, I'm going to be retiring this recipe soon. I've been kind of giving up for the last few weeks. If you haven't grabbed it yet, this is your last chance. So comment below, or you can send me a private DM with the word protein, and I will send it over to you. Additionally, this recipe is dairy free. I also genuinely don't believe in eating dairy. I see all the time people promoting Greek yogurt because it's high protein, or cottage cheese because it's high protein, and every freaking recipe is made with these things. Dairy causes a lot of inflammation and mucus in the body. We are more prone to inflammation at this age. This is a little bonus tip for you. Do what you will, as always, but I think it's important to make an informed decision, and I think a lot of people don't know that. As well, it wreaks havoc on your gut health, which is closely tied to your hormonal health. Anyway, I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, leave them below. If you want the high protein recipe, comment below protein, or you can send me a private DM with the word protein, and I will happily send that over to you. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and that was helpful to you. Bye.